Metabolic syndrome. This is a term often used these days. It's a cluster of symptoms, or it's a cluster of diagnoses that, if found in one person, is referred to as a syndrome. This can have central obesity, which is your waist circumference, which different countries define differently, but on an average 35 inches around the belly button for women and 40 inches for men. If it's more than that, or 35 and 40, or 34 and 39, I mean, these figures, it's not like you can say, hey, mine is like 29.9 inches, so I don't fit the criteria. It's a guideline, it's a sort of framework for you to start taking notice of things. And the second thing is elevated blood pressure, which is hypertension. The third is reduced HDL, which is the good cholesterol. And fourth is increased LDL. And fifth is your elevated fasting plasma glucose levels. Now, if you have any of these, or two of these, or three of these, you must sit up and take notice, because these components of the metabolic syndrome, research says that it's not just a risk factor for cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes, but is also associated with colorectal cancer, pancreas and primary liver cancer. And now it's a major public health care threat. These are big daddy words. These are big words. And guess what? If not all of it, lots of it is preventable. Lots of it doesn't need to even pop up in your life. For me, the root of all of this goes to insulin resistance, goes to inflammation, and goes to lifestyle. And lifestyle does not just mean sweating it out like crazy in the gym 3 hours a day, every single day, or doing extreme sport or extreme restrictive fad dieting. In fact, overuse, overdoing, wrongdoing, obsessive exercising without understanding the nutritional requirements or the recovery requirements or minus supervision for a normal person who's not training to be a world level Olympic champion athlete can actually produce more stress hormone, which is cortisol, and give you more inflammation and become the very seat, the very foundation on which insulin resistance thrives. And then comes all of your metabolic syndromes, and then comes the big scary ones. So it all goes back to the decisions that you make on a daily basis. While it's all nice to hear a new term, buy a new gadget, go and get this robotic device that tells you, hey Navya, it's time for you to sleep, or hey Dr. Navya, you already ate a big bowl of rice, you are not hungry anymore, and feel good about all of this. The actionables, the doables, the magic bullets all are in our own hands, in your hands. And those cannot be replaced no matter what the sophistication of technology. And that is how much you move throughout the day. I'm not talking of obsessive exercise, regimens. I am talking of movement, of stretching, the range of motion, of breaking into a dance, of lymphatic tapping, of using the steps, of going to your colleague's cabin on the other floor rather than calling them up, or saying good mornings over a mail, for heaven's sake, or for remotes, even for your morning hours. Ouch. So I'm talking about movement and usage of your body throughout the day. Now, the second component to movement is movement of pent up frustration, pent up anger, unexpressed relationship dilemmas, confusion, doubt, trauma issues. So the movement is of body, and then the movement is of emotion. Now comes the movement of mind. Are you learning a new skill? Are you doing the Sudoku? Are you trying to do the crossword? Or are you using ChatGPT even for that? Are you even attempting the presentation in your assignment? Are you creating your own posts? Are you choosing a photograph? Simple things, but these are activities that are new to your brain. They challenge your mind, they challenge your neuronal network and force it to be neuroplastic and not rigid. Earlier, we thought once a neuronal connection is done, it's done for life and we are stuck with it. Now, we have newer research that tells us that these brain connections essentially translating into our life beliefs, our health beliefs, our happiness codes, our existence codes, our thriving codes, our achieving codes are modifiable. And who can modify them? Us. We have the capacity. We are the big robot. We are the mother robot. And we can do it. So that was movement of the body, and then of the mind, and then of the emotion. Then comes movement, the environment in which you move. Is it always closed doors? Is it always in the air conditioner? It's always regulated by technology, even the air that you breathe, or you're giving yourself a chance to be out and about in nature. And is that movement now in synergy with the nature's movements? Now, a part of this movement is your sleep, because guess what? That's also a circadian rhythm, the rhythm of the universe, the time for the sun to set, the time for the sun to rise. And believe me, it's different in Europe and it's different in America, isn't it? And we go completely bonkers when we travel, what we call jet lag. Why is that? If we were so superhuman and if movement of the universe did not impact us, why do we go absolutely bonkers with jet lag when we travel continents or different time zones? This is evidence enough for us to respect and understand, not to fight nature's rhythms and become one with it, because it optimizes our delivery, it optimizes our potential, it optimizes our experience of life. Now, movement, which you thought is such a simple word, suddenly has translated into ooh, like an entire encyclopedia. But this is how you ought to think of movement. Then sleep. Sleep is not a passive activity, it is a passive activity for us, but for our body and our mind. All of our repair, all of our rejuvenation, all of our recovery, all of memory consolidation, all of creative consolidation, all of the download of the data, and then making the meta analysis of it, and then making that one single tagline for the campaign happens in sleep. Sleep is the most active phase for our body. It is not passive. So that's also movement. Are you giving your body a chance for sleep movement? So, all I'm trying to get at today is that metabolic syndrome should not scare you, because the foundation of it, the basis of it, the foundation on which it festers and grows and then becomes a gangrene in our lives can be shaken now. Play that favorite song of yours and go crazy with it. Shake. Go out right now for a 5-minute walk around your desk, around your building, and come back. Deep breathe and sigh. Why do we sigh every time we are tired, every time we are exhausted mentally, every time we are done with somebody's conversation? Just sigh 5 times. Do belly breathing 2 times, 3 times. Just jump spot every 1 hour. 10, they're called Hindu squats, 10 Hindu squats or sumo squats every hour, whatever rocks your boat, but get movement. Learn communication, learn expression, learn how to say no. That's regulation of emotional communication movement. Learn forgiveness practices, learn gratitude practices. That is movement of emotion. Letting go of what doesn't serve you anymore inviting what serves you, intention setting, not goal setting, intention setting, ikigai setting, exploring the world. Be flexible to the new, whether it's the new restaurant in town or a new idea thrown at you by your boss or new people in the university or a sudden transfer or a new boyfriend or whatever. Just be open to the possibility. All of this entails just one aspect of your life, the very basics of life. Similarly, you have to focus on other aspects, which is your relationship with food, your relationship with yourself, your relationship with the sun, the mighty sun. In the East, we have an entire god dedicated to sun. Well, guess what? They knew that today vitamin D is probably one of the most sold and consumed vitamins in the world, and deficient. Every other person is not just deficient but severely deficient in vitamin D. Guess why? Because we lost our connection with the sun. We have an entire practice in yoga called, the sun salutations. Now they're not just exercise, they're not just physical movements. Those movements were mindful. You acknowledged the grandeur, the glory, the life giving capacity of the sun. You saluted it. I mean, it's the sun that brings life. We all know that. And the sun that is not biased, the sun that treats everybody the same, the sun that makes sure to shine bright and shine light in our lives. I have been living in a Baltic country for 1.5 years, and believe me, my understanding of the importance of the sun, why we had a sun god back home in India, why we have sun salutation or Surya Namaskar as we call it. We actually have chants, mantras dedicated to the sun god. We offer sun god a certain, offerings every morning. We are told to wake up before the sun rises. We call it the most productive hour for creativity, for development, for transformational ideas, ideation, implementation, or just reflection. We associated all of this with the sun. So there you go. You have to go back to the basics. You can do so in an uber expensive, tough and complicated, convoluted manner, or you can do so with going back to the basics first, incorporating them and diligently practicing them, and see how your life changes. So this is me, Dr. Navhya, and I wanted to read out this study to you to take you back to chewing your food and developing a mindful relationship with the food that you consume, because you become your food and your food becomes you. You went from that little baby, that little infant, to a full-blown adult. It's all because of what you consumed. And today I'm not touching about what we consume in terms of thought and friendships and mindsets and energy around us, but just on the physical aspect of food as we understand it. And that itself is profound. And now metabolic syndrome is something that's really, really big these days, and it's very much preventable. It's very much interferable. We can disrupt the metabolic syndrome chain much before it turns into a full-blown type 2 diabetes or a cardiovascular issue or morbidly obese individual or severe hypertension. We can intervene much before that. We can intervene now, and I can help you exactly do that, because I come from a place of disease is not normal. Being healthy was always our normal and should be our normal, so that we can gift this mindset to our coming generations. Being deceased is not normal. It's not the way we were supposed to be. Thank you for being patient. This was a long one, but I do hope you understand the essence of it. Reach out if you want more information. To follow and share, because if you don't follow and you don't share, Who will? Bye bye.